My name's Charlotte. I'm a member of RS21. We're a socialist organisation. We're one of the organisations that organised this protest. And I'm a trans woman, and I'm angry! I'm angry that they think they can keep us down! I'm angry that the transphobes are celebrating! I'm angry that the police have leapt on this moment to introduce transphobic policies, and that the EHRC is suggesting that we can't use toilets, and that the NHS and other services will likely be rowing back on trans inclusion. Shame!
I am here as the co-chair of the Trans and Non-Binary Network of the NEU. I'm here as a teacher, I'm here as an activist, but I want to speak to you as a teacher. I teach in an alternative provision where most of our students are trans and non-binary. To be clear, I did not make them trans. The school was like that when I got there. However, they come to us not because of some inherent flaw, but because they are kicked out of the mainstream education system. Their gender expression is seen as a dismissal of behaviour policy. Their self-advocacy is seen as defiance. Their identity is seen as something worth anguish, not pride.
RMT's position on this outcome is as follows. The union's policy is unequivocal, they had to put that word in there for me to read, in its support for all our trans and non-binary members and their rights to gender identity. It must be remembered that the RMT demands a zero tolerance to any acts of harassment or discrimination, which includes incidents focused on gender and gender identity. Now I am speaking in a personal capacity as a little gay boy from South East London. But even though I happen to speak in a mix of Danny Dyer and Alan Carr, this is one T I will never drop.
Gender, as it was constructed in the modern era, has never applied to black people specifically. This dates back to enslavement. To this day, the gender binary is weaponized against all black people still. We cannot let fascism seduce our communities through social conservative values. We must protect black trans women. We must protect us all. Liberation for black trans people means liberation for everybody. When black trans people are free, we will all be free!
And I'm angry, frankly, because I think this is probably only the beginning. And I don't say that to make people scared, but because you all should be fucking angry too. It's a call of a day for this ruling to turn into a bathroom ban and a carte blanche for the police to assault us. How many days it can take before that rat fuck Wed Streeting comes for our healthcare, as he already has done with trans kids. I've seen a lot of anger directed broadly at cis people over the last few days, and I really get it, but I also think it's important to remember why this all began in the first place. And it started because the people in charge of this country, the people who have the power, want to sow division and distract us from the real problems.
There's no denying that the times that we live in are worrying. The backdrop of the Supreme Court decision is a rise in the far right globally and in the UK, with US money flooding into the UK from far right organisations which are funding anti-trans movements, funding anti-abortion movements, and funding groups like Reform UK, Patriotic Alternative, and all that goes beyond that. We can't expect the police to defend us from the far right, nor should we expect the state to ban prescribed far-right and reactionary activity.
The attacks the trans community are facing are like any other vulnerable community. Come with us, fight with us, and don't think that this ruling is good for women as much as it is trans women. It's not, never will be. And what about our trans men siblings you omitted from your press release? We've had over a decade of the culture war. I'll carry on, I don't care. We've had over a decade of the culture war, which has resulted in yet another reason why we have been a fractured working class. This most recent draconian ruling misses the point and reaffirms the ugly patriarchal system of governance in which we endure.
You have refused trans people their platform for the past decades, and now we are here now. The many in my industry and union, and especially within the rail part, hold some gender critical views without actually knowing trans people. Some have worked within my job and smashed their expectations and their own barriers. Again, come with us, learn, and then together we will be united working class will overcome. We are indeed seeing a resurgence of far-right fundamentalism under the guise of traditional values. We have always been here, and we are never going underground away in any way whatsoever.
A year on from Hillary Cass's brutal attack on trans youth, the British state continues to ramp up its tactics. First with the Labour Party permanently banning new prescriptions for puberty blockers for under 18s in December. Shame! And now removing trans women's legal right to define themselves as women. Shame! Fight racism, fight imperialism stands in solidarity with trans people who are under attack by the British state and the Labour Party. We oppose all discrimination. We oppose all discrimination on the basis of gender, sex, or sexuality. As communists, we demand free and equal access to housing, healthcare, education, and guaranteed employment for all.
The judgment, and I will not mince my words, is transphobic. It describes trans women as men who identify as women. Boo! Despite its claims that our rights remain the same, it does not withhold its contempt for us. Yet this judgment doesn't just harm trans people. Defining women solely by their supposed biology, as this judgment does, and claiming that this is the root of our shared oppression, is a deeply conservative idea of gender. It aligns with everything the misogynist far right are trying to reduce women to. They want to define women by their reproductive anatomy alone. But it is the violence of patriarchy which is the real root of our oppression. This is what...
I'm angry that trans kids and adults are going to be feeling suicidal because of this, because they have no hope. I'm angry that people will not want to leave the house and will not want to be themselves because of this ruling. And I'm angry that so much energy is being put into putting down one of the most marginalized sections of the population instead of building structures that could help people. If all that energy and all that money went into real feminist organizing, fighting against the gender pay gap, against austerity, for women's shelters and socialized childcare, we'd be in a much better place.